Alright, first off, I know the nouns video is not the most fun, but this here verbs video is going to be so much better because verbs have action. So verbs are, because verbs have action, so verbs, this video will have action. Alright, moving on. Oh, check out this action. Pretty sweet. Verbs. Verbs are a word that expresses action or state of being is our theme. See, people forget about the state of being. They think that verbs are just action, but they're not. They're also state of being. Check out that action again. Wow. Wow. All right. So we got classes of verbs. First class, auxiliary verbs. Auxiliary. Everybody say it. Auxiliary. 1, 2, 3, go. Good. Auxiliary verbs, or helping verbs, are used to form some of the tenses and the voice of the main verb. In the example below, the auxiliary verbs are bolded and the main verbs are underlined. Was, led, had, stopped, consisted, were, leveling. You can go back and read it because you can pause this video if you want. I'm moving on. Common auxiliary verbs are right there. Boom. Am, is, are, was, were, be, being, been, do, does, did, has, have, had, shall, should, will, would, can, could, may, might, must. Bah. Intransitive verbs. Intransitive. See, you did nouns, and we talked about transitive and intransitive and direct objects and indirect objects. So, here we go. Boom. An intransitive verb communicates action that is complete in itself. It does not need an object to receive the action. No direct object. Example, the boy flew on his skateboard. He ollied, shoved it, and heel flipped. No objects. No objects there. Some verbs can be either transitive or intransitive. So it doesn't. You can't just memorize a set number of verbs and say those ones are transitive and those ones are intransitive. It doesn't work that way. Here's an example. He finally stopped the show. Stopped what? The show. Show is the direct object. Stopped is a transitive verb. It has a direct object. Might have an indirect object. In this case, no indirect object. All right. He finally stopped to rest. Intransitive. See how we were using stopped in both of those? See how I had the note and then I have examples? Stopped to rest. Stopped what? To rest. Rest is an object of the preposition. To stopped is an intransitive verb. No direct object. Moving right along, da da da. Linking verbs. A linking verb is a special type of intransitive verb that links the subject to a noun or an adjective in the predicate after the verb. Predicate means after the verb. Okay? On his skateboard, the boy felt confident. Felt confident. Confident is an adjective describing boy. He was the best skater around. Skater is a noun renaming the subject he. He is a pronoun. Some common linking verbs are these. Is, are, was, were, be, been. And, smell, seem, grow. Get, become, appear. Sound, taste, feel. Remain, stay, look, turn. Moving on. Transitive verbs. A transitive verb, underlined, communicates action that is received by an object that completes the meaning of the verb. The subject is in italics. The city council passed a strict noise ordinance. Passed what? The ordinance. Transitive verb in the active voice directs the action from the subject, city council, to the object, ordinance. It goes the same way as the sentence flows. So you don't have to be like, okay, wait, now what happened? And then go backwards. It goes forward the same way the sentence flows. It's a sick flow. Yo. The students protested the noise ordinance with a noisy demonstration. Ordinance receives the action of the verb protested from the subject, students. Students protested ordinance. Boom, boom, boom. Passive voice. A transitive verb in the passive voice directs its action towards the subject, so it goes the other way. The ordinance was debated by students and parents at a public meeting. Subject ordinance receives the action of the verb was debated by students. See how it goes backwards? Ordinance debated students, but the students are debating the ordinance. It's a passive voice sentence, and we try to avoid that. Passive verb, person or thing creating the action is not always stated. Ordinance was overturned. Passive voice is something in formal writing we want to avoid because we want to show strength and we want to show action in our sentences, and we want subjects doing the action in our sentences. So we try to avoid the passive voice as much as possible. Sometimes it has a purpose. A direct object receives the action of a transitive verb directly from the subject. Direct object, transitive verb, directly from the subject. The boy kicked his skateboard forward. Skateboard is the direct object. See how that works? Boy kicked skateboard. An indirect object receives the action of a transitive verb, but indirectly. An indirect object names the person to whom or for whom something is done. It can also name the thing to what or for what something is done. Look at the example. Then he showed us his best tricks. Us is the indirect object. Showed what? Tricks. Tricks is the direct object. To whom or what? Us. But when you have what you think would be the indirect object in a prepositional phrase, it's no longer the indirect object. Then he showed his best tricks to us. Us is the object of the preposition to. It's not an indirect object anymore. It's the object of the preposition. Last, we have verbals. Verbals get confusing for people because they think they're verbs, but they're not. They're functioning as other things. We put them under verbs so that we can clarify for people. A verbal is a word that is derived from a verb, has the power of a verb, but acts as another part of speech. Like a verb, a verbal may take on an object, a modifier, and sometimes a subject, but unlike a verb, a verbal functions as a noun, an adjective, or an adverb. There are 3 types of verbals: gerunds, infinitives, and participles. Gerunds are first. Gerund. Hey, gerund. A gerund is a verb that ends in ing and is used as a noun. Swimming is my favorite pastime. Subject. Swimming is a subject. Who or what is my favorite pastime? Swimming. Swimming's a noun. I began swimming at the age of 6 months. I was a little itty bitty teeny tiny swimmer. I swam all day. I swam everywhere I went. Baseball practice, football practice. I just swam everywhere. That's what I did. Swimming, direct object. Began what? Swimming. I don't know. Because of swimming, I'm in good condition. Object of the preposition. Of swimming. Because of swimming. Object of the preposition. Of is the preposition. Swimming is the object of the preposition. After gerunds, we have infinitives. Infinitives work like this. Usually introduced by to, may be used as an adverb, an adjective, or a noun. Oh, my head. To swim the English Channel must be a thrill. Who or what must be a thrill? To swim. To swim is a noun. It's the subject of this sentence. That's crazy. It looks like a verb, man. If it were easy to swim the channel, more people would do it. To swim is an adverb modifying the adjective easy. Easy is an adjective modifying the pronoun it that comes before the verb were. I don't even know how that works. Actually, I do. To swim is an adverb. It's a modifier. It modifies easy. Easy is an adjective that is a predicate adjective because it comes after a be verb, were modifying it. That's crazy. That's crazy. The urge to swim in tropical waters is more common. To swim is an adjective modifying the noun urge. Urge. Participles are the last one. Here we go. A participle is a verb form usually ending in ing or ed. A participle functions as an adjective, but also retains some of the characteristics of a verb. It might be thought of as a verbal adjective. The farmhands harvesting corn are tired and hungry. Which farmhands? The ones harvesting corn. Harvesting is an adjective modifying farmhands. So we know that it's the ones who are harvesting the corn, not the ones sitting over there drinking lemonade in the shade. Those farmhands aren't tired or hungry. Well, maybe they're hungry, but they're not thirsty because they got lemonade. Harvesting also acts like a verb because it has a direct object, corn. But it is an adjective. Well, it's a verbal, but it's functioning as an adjective. The cribs full of harvested cobs are evidence of their hard work. Harvested functions as an adjective by modifying cobs. Which cobs? The ones that are harvested. Not those ones over there that aren't harvested. Those show that people have been lazy. But the ones, the harvested ones, that's the ones we're talking about here. Harvested functions as an adjective by modifying cobs. That's it. Here's a work you got to do. Write down the sentences for 1 through 10. Just write them down exactly as they are and bring them to class. Also, for 11, 12, and 13, you notice there isn't an 11, 12, and 13. It only goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 11, 12, and 13. For 11, I want you to write a sentence with a helping verb. For 12, I want you to write a sentence with a transitive verb. And for 13, I want you to write a sentence with a gerund. That's your homework to bring to class. Write down these sentences exactly as they are. That'll take you 2 minutes. And then write a sentence for each one of those up at the top there. Sentence with a helping verb, sentence with a transitive verb, sentence with a gerund. Bring them to class. That's it. That's it. We're done. We out. Goodbye.